Well, we welcome you into another episode here of our Pros Who Know Ask Holly, as joining me now, that being President and CEO Holly Sammons of the Better Business Bureau of Central Florida. As we do every single episode, we're trying to assist and help and educate when it comes to various things that maybe all of us don't necessarily know about. And here today, Holly, we've got some home improvement tips that we'll be able to send people's ways, things that can help save money. And let's start off with roofing, especially in Central Florida with the weather that we constantly have and even hurricanes on a regular basis. Yeah,
you know, one thing that's interesting about hurricane season is what a lot of people who are maybe new to Florida don't realize is, you know, you want to make sure that you choose a roofer who is licensed in the state of Florida and may not have just blown into town with a storm, because roofing in Florida is very specific and it's very different. It can be very different from, let's say, an area of the country that's used to snow. We need good, strong roofs who can stand up to the wind, but can also stand up to water and a lot of moisture and rain and things like that. So, you know, maintaining your roof or replacing your roof when it's time, in the long run, even though that can be a lot of money out of pocket, in the long run can really save you a lot of time, effort, and money.
Yeah, oftentimes we try to get the most out of that roof. You don't want to necessarily pull that Band-Aid off because it is such a massive expense if you have to change out your entire roof. So that being said, maybe some ideas or thoughts to be able to maintain your roof on a regular basis so you're going to get the most longevity out of it.
Yeah, there are a few things that you can do to help perhaps increase the life of your roof, but also maintenance along the way can help, perhaps give you more years with your roof before you have to go into a full replacement. You want to do things like make sure that your gutters are cleaned out, make sure that you remove trees or any plants that are dropping debris on the roof. You want to make sure that if your roof needs to be tarped at any point, that if nails are applied to tarp it, you need to understand you're putting more holes in that roof, and it is going to need to be replaced. That area at least is going to need to be replaced because you're adding more holes, which more holes equal more places for water to come in. If you have to tarp, you may want to consider sandbags, things like that. So there are ways that you can increase the longevity of your roof. You want to make sure that you have it checked periodically to make sure, especially if you're getting towards the end of the life of your roof, or if you don't know how old your roof is, have it checked out, make sure, because if you're putting it off because you don't want to put all that money out of pocket, you could be experiencing leaks that you're not aware of. Maybe it's in the corner of the garage and you think, well, what's the harm? But water travels. And as water comes in, especially in Florida in our climate, you have mold, mildew, and any host of problems that start to happen when you have rotting wood and when you have a leak. So by not maintaining the roof or not replacing it when it's time, you could really be racking up some considerable bills when you think you're saving yourself money.
When it comes to record keeping, and I like to create an ongoing spreadsheet of things that have happened during the course of the year. So for instance, when you're needing to clean out those gutters, well, when was the last time that occurred? Being able to create a schedule like that can be helpful because, as you get older, your memory does not always stay as sharp.
Well, and your home, most often it's our most valuable asset. And so to keep track of how long has it been since it's been replaced, if you had a repair, how old is that repair? Maybe having someone get up there and look at the shingles. Are they curling? Are they cracking? Are you losing grit from those shingles? The construction of your roof, everything serves a purpose. And the longer you let it go, and if it's not quite perfect, you may be able to get a little bit of extra time out of it. But eventually, those problems are going to start to cost you money, and then you have to weigh out what's going to cost me more: the mold and removing the mold and the mildew, and the damage, or replacing or repairing this roof. So proper maintenance really can save you money down the road.
All right, well, let's now move over to windows and doors. doors, and being able to kind of always keep those top of mind as well in case there's some weathering that's going on over the course of time, and some tips as to windows and doors.
Yeah, and windows and doors in Florida also, there are hurricane related regulations that the state puts into place for our safety. So you want to make sure that when you're choosing a window and door company, that you choose someone who is properly pulling the proper permits and things like that. And that's for your safety and for the protecting the investment that you're making. But obviously, maintaining a home that has updated windows and doors can save you just on your electricity,
Correct,
your air conditioning, helping you to maintain consistent temperature. I know I'm in a home that was built in the 70s. It still has the original windows. I can hear every cough and sneeze that walks down the sidewalk. So that tells me if I can hear through those windows, I'm also probably losing, valuable air conditioning out of them. So when it comes to keeping water out during storm season, but also more often than not, we're most concerned about our energy costs, and maintaining windows and doors and replacing them when it's time can certainly save you money down the road.
Well, and I think you brought up a good point, is being able to do your due diligence and spending some time jumping on to the Better Business Bureau to investigate potential vendors that you're going to want to potentially use.
Yeah, just because you have a buddy who can button in some windows and doors.
I got a friend.
Everybody's
Everybody's got a friend.
Exactly. Just because the job may look like it was done properly, you don't want to start to second guess that decision or regret that decision when storm season comes and there's water coming in or those windows start to fail. Also, when it comes time to sell your home, you want to make sure that all the improvements that have been done have been properly permitted so that you don't cause yourself delays or trouble down the road. So when it comes to making major investments like a roof, like windows and doors, you're putting out a lot of money. Make sure it's done the right way the first time. We say to consumers all the time, when you're choosing a provider, when you're choosing a contractor, make the decision right the first time so that you only spend the money one time. You don't want to put money down, maybe buy materials. Those materials may or may not be installed properly. And then you have to hire another company to come in behind them and replace or repair the work. Spending the money twice.
It continues to compound. All right, so roofing, we've touched on some doors and windows. What about the exterior of your house, the paint and the longevity of wanting to be able to keep the curb appeal up and making your houses as beautiful as possible?
And oftentimes we think that paint and what the outside of the home looks like is just curb appeal. But we found out following Hurricane Irma that, in fact, many people who had water damage, it wasn't the windows and doors and it wasn't the roof. It was cracks and stucco, and it was a home that was not properly sealed. Painting your home, keeping your home maintained on the exterior, isn't it just about curb appeal? It's also about helping your home be as watertight as possible, keeping moisture out. And again, moisture, mildew, those are expensive problems to have to overcome, and oftentimes really difficult to overcome in a climate like ours. So you want to make sure that you do your best to prevent it. And again, protecting your most valuable asset. So again, repairing the stucco cracks, having your home properly sealed and painted on a regular schedule is not just about curb appeal. It's about protecting your home.
And the paint itself, there's certain paints that you're going to want to try to go after because they're not all the same. The ones that you're painting the interior bathroom with is very different than an exterior paint where you want to make sure that is going to cover but then also protect from those elements coming in.
Yeah, and you also want to make sure that you hire a painter who knows what they're doing, who is going to do the proper prep work and deliver to you exactly what you wanted. It's not just paint. It can be, a very important part of protecting your investment. And you want to make sure that you get out of it exactly what you expected. You don't want to pay to have it done, and then maybe it doesn't look great, or maybe they didn't do the proper prep work or sealing. and then you feel like you have to go back and pay someone to do it again a year or two from now. So you want to make sure that you really choose someone who knows what they're doing. It's not just paint.
Well, I'm glad I asked,
Yeah,
Holly.
right.
As another edition here of our Ask Holly, pros who know. And as always, if you do have a question, maybe it's not just about what we've talked about here today, keeping up with your roof as well as windows and doors and paint, about just about anything
Sure.
when it comes to home improvement or questions that you might have when it comes to trying to hire out a specialist to do something. We invite you to shoot Holly an email at
email us.
askholly@wkmg.com as another edition in the books, Holly. We will see you guys next time.